What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Next Pats podcast. It's a rare edition of Next Pats where we have the opportunity to talk about a Patriots game the day after. Not only a Patriots game, but a Patriots win. They move to 9-2. They remain atop the AFC East. They are atop the American Football Conference for now, the best record in football. Can you believe it? We've got a great episode for you here today because we're bringing on our friend, three-time Super Bowl winner, Devin McCourty, who was actually on the call last night for Westwood One Radio. He was in the building. He could feel the buzz, I'm sure, and it felt like an electric atmosphere as the Patriots went and got their 9th win. So it'll be great to discuss all things Patriots-Jets with him. But first, I did just want to talk about the Mike Vrabel effect. We know how these Thursday night games go, don't we? They get weird, especially in the division. Good teams lose to bad teams, typically very ugly. And yet, this was a professional, mature win by your New England Patriots. 0 turnovers, only 2 penalties on the night, a clean game, an incredibly well-played game by the quarterback. A running back, that guy, over my right shoulder, Travion Henderson, who had a nose for the end zone with 3 touchdowns. This felt like the type of game that a team that is accustomed to these types of quick turnarounds would be able to produce. Not a team that was just thrown together this offseason with a coach who's in his first year with the organization, with a quarterback who's in his first year in a new offense in his second year overall, with 2 rookie offensive linemen. You're not supposed to be able to do things like this, and yet the Patriots are able to do it. I think it's due in large part to the leadership and the program that's been built by their head coach, Mike Vrabel. He doesn't want to hear that. He doesn't want any of the credit. He's thanking everybody in the organization. He's pointing at everybody other than himself after a game like that one, and that's exactly what he did as soon as he got to the podium on Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, testament to our players, our staff. I thanked them so many times just being able to roll in there on Monday, have stuff prepared. You know, it's hard to, go on the road to Tampa, and get your mind, ready for that, but also in the back of your mind, got a whole nother box about, what are you going to do against the Jets, and being able to get on a plane, come home, get in late, but have that ready to go and have energy and a game plan ready for the players on Monday at 1 o'clock. So thank the trainers, thank the staff, the strength staff, everybody involved for getting our players ready to go for the game here in a short week.
Vrabel could thank everyone in the building, but it does come back to him. Things like mindset, effort, attention to detail, even recovery during the week. All of these things, when he mentions his staff, that falls under his purview. That comes back to him. And so to me, that win on Thursday night for the New England Patriots was a reflection of the Mike Vrabel effect, and the football watching world had an opportunity to see just what kind of impact Vrabel has made in his first year as head coach of the New England Patriots. With that, let's get to our conversation with our buddy, Devin McCourty. There he is, 3-time Super Bowl champion, star of Football Night in America, and he was on the broadcast Thursday night for Westwood One. Devin McCourty, thanks for being with us on Next Pats.
Man, appreciate it. Had a lot of fun Thursday at the game and seeing old faces, seeing Gronk. It was awesome seeing them breaking guitars and spiking footballs. Reminded me of the old days.
I want to ask you, speaking of the old days, if the buzz, when you're at a game like that one at Gillette Stadium, if it's at all reminiscent of the buzz that you experienced as a player when you guys were playing as well as you were playing at the height of the time that you were with the team. Obviously, 3 championships. You guys had plenty of runs where you were the top seed in the AFC or had the best record in the conference the way the Patriots do now. Is the excitement around the team at all similar in terms of your experience as a player, Devin?
Yeah, no doubt about it, right? It's November, and everywhere I went, people were like, "Hey, you think we could go to the Super Bowl this year?" Like that was the norm in New England. It was all about this team's good enough to go win a Super Bowl, and I think that's the feeling you get. I came to the game last year at the end of December when they played against the Chargers, a Saturday game, and just the energy in the stadium. Like, it was a colder day, little rain. Like, you looked out in the stadium, stadium. A lot of seats were empty. People that were there, where they were inside the club or in their suite. Last night was a cold day, and Thursday night was a cold day, and you could see everybody didn't care. It was just all about the Patriots. It was the new jerseys. It was the energy. Like, you could definitely feel that the whole New England area is behind this team, and they believe this team's special. And credit to all the players and coaches and everybody on staff there, because, on a short week to turn it around and make sure you don't have any type of lapse and to go out there and win a game, they did a good job of that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you what you thought was the most impressive part of that victory last night, Devin. I called it off the top of the show. A mature win, a professional win. This is a team that was kind of thrown together this past offseason. Coaches in his first year, you don't expect them to perform that well, at least in my opinion, on short rest like that. But to you, what was the most impressive part of that win over the Jets?
I always think about games should flow a certain way when you have teams that match up. And in this game, you have a 2-win team. And I know the Jets came off two victories, but, 50-something yards passing. It wasn't pretty against Cleveland. So you come in this game and you're like, all right, one of my keys of the game for the Patriots where you got to get off to a fast start, bury this team early, and then just go play ball. Jets come down. Unbelievable opening drive. Justin Fields is running a couple short passes. I thought they had a really good game plan. They executed their first, 15, their script really well. And I talked about right after that this is where football games are kind of decided. Do the Jets defense come and get a 3-and-out, or do the Patriots drive the field? Patriots drive the field, have a long touchdown. Then throughout the evening, Milton Williams goes out. Chason goes out for a quick time. Like, you have these different things that are popping up that, to me, had all of the fixings of, this is going to be a 3-point game late in the fourth quarter, and then who knows what's going to happen. But the Patriots, no matter what happened in the game, they just kept playing their style. Stopped the Jets a few times, and the Jets have a long drive. Nobody panics. Offense comes out. They put together a drive, kick a field goal. Then Fields fumbles. It was just like all of the moments in the game, like you just said, a mature win. That was because all of the moments where they could have been like, we shouldn't have handled it this way. Now this is. They were just like, keep doing what you're doing, keep staying the course, and you could see it showed up. And I thought that was a big reason why they got a victory against the Jets.
How much credit does Mike Vrabel deserve for how they handled those moments that you're talking about?
A ton. I think everything starts at the top, right? I think Vrabel coming in, what he demanded from ownership, and ownership being willing to be on board and do those things. And it goes from Vrabel down to the assistant coaches, the guys he has on staff. And then the next is where I think the key part where this team is, the leadership. Like, leadership is tough. When you said it when we opened the show, this team was thrown together. Like, you have some rookies that you drafted. You have some veterans that you went and got from other places. You have some other guys who are holdovers who haven't had a lot of success in their time in New England. And you blend all that together, you don't know how that's going to shake out. And to hear some of the reports this week of, hey, we don't want to go inside. Hey, we don't want this meeting cut short for rest. We want to attack. Like, that's your leadership. That's the guys that you want representing the team saying, hey, Coach Vrabel, we got your message since April of how we need to be. We believe it. It's a part of who we are now. Don't change it. We're all in. Don't worry about our rest. We'll take care of it. That, to me, is one of the things that the Patriots teams haven't had in some time. When you look at your team from veteran, free agents, veterans who were there, young rookies, young players, they have, I think, leadership in all aspects of the team. I think later in my career, all the leadership started to fall on older guys being responsible. And I think about our heyday, like in my second year, I was a captain. Like, I was a leader for young guys. Then you had a Drake Maye. Then you had a Vince Wilfork. You had a Logan Mankins. You had a young Matthew Slater. You had Kevin Falk. You had all of these leaders who were leaders in their own right and all over the locker room. And I think this team is starting to form that the same way.
Drake Maye has another great night. I mean, it's just been so consistent from him in his second year. It's been remarkable. Another 100-plus quarterback rating. Almost was his first 300-yard game of his career. But in terms of last night, and you're there to see it up close, and I know you've followed him all season long, but last night specifically, what's one word you would use to describe his game against the Jets?
Calm. He's just so calm. Like, we got him on Westwood 1 after the game, and I was like, hey man, at the end of the interview, I was like, hey man, like, what a win. I got my jersey they sent. I can't wait to wear it this weekend. And he was like, yeah, go Pats. I'm like, man, crack a joke with me, run down this with me, give me a sentence. It was like locked in, calm guy. It was like you feel like you're watching a guy who's already has the answers to the test. He's just like, hey, no matter what happens, I know I'm good. And I thought the highlight of the night was he comes out on a bootleg. The Jets kind of sniff it out. I'm watching, I think it was Kyle Williams. He's running the over route. He's going to be open on the boot, but the pressure gets there so fast. Maye has no time to throw. So he tucks it and he's just running and he's trying to get the edge. And you're like, all right, smart play. Last minute he sees Diggs and he just calmly flicks it to Diggs. And you're just like, man, like, this guy's in such control of his game and how he's playing. And what I love last night and what we've been seeing all year is him and Josh McDaniels. It's just like Drake Maye makes a few great plays, and then McDaniels, the touchdown throw to Travion Henderson with Diggs in the backfield. You're just sitting there, you're like, man, that's a really good call. So you have this quarterback playing at a high level, and this offensive coordinator that's not relying on that. He's still giving them these little, like, cool design plays where he's like, hey, it's going to be either this guy or that guy. I know they're not going to figure it out. Just one of them will be open. And that's exactly what happened. It's a lot of fun to see the way they're operating.
It's almost like there's no answer for him right now, Devin, which sounds like a crazy thing to say, but the way he's been playing and the way defenses have tried to scheme him up. We saw first half last week against Tampa, Todd Bowles does the Todd Bowles thing, tries to blitz him to Kingdom Come, and he tears it apart. It looked like the Jets at times tried to blitz him last night, and he continues to have success. At times they drop into coverage, and he's still finding out ways to pick up chunk gains. So can we tap into your defensive mind here? Like, how would you try to slow down Drake Maye in this Patriots offense?
Yeah, I think one of the things that, in my opinion, that has changed in the NFL, other than I would have to really think about it, but like Minnesota's a little bit different, but like teams don't give quarterbacks a lot to look at as much anymore. The too high shell with two safeties deep has taken over the NFL. I think a lot of teams look the same. Like, when you turn on the film, it's the same, and it's all reliant on guys winning. And you watch, like you just said, you watch the Jets early in the game. They didn't pressure much. Will Campbell, unbelievable job blocking Will McDonald. Morgan Moses on the other side blocking Jermaine Johnson. Like, they did a good job. And when you have that and your offensive line is playing well together, Drake Maye sitting back there like, this is too easy. Bop, bop. All right, man-to-man coverage, I'm going here. And where I think you got to try to do, especially against young quarterbacks, how can we get in man looks, man matches, show blitz, jump out into cover 2, jump out into cover 3? How can we give him some false indicators? Like, the Patriots do a lot of different things where they have guys motioning and doing this and that. Is like, all right, well, they know when you motion with a guy or you do this, they know, all right, I got zone. All right, I got man. How can we make them think it's something else? And that's something I think hasn't really shown up as much for a lot of defenses. The good defenses in the league, I think a lot of times when you look at their roster, like you look at like Seattle, you're like, man, they got like 5 or 6 guys that can pass rush. They're fast at the linebacker position. They've drafted some good second. Like, that's been what you mainly talk about. And I think Drake Maye has done a really good job preparing and studying, and he has the weapons. And I think that's been one of the keys. You can't just double Diggs. You can't just say we're going to pack the middle of the field. Like, he has answers, and guys are winning. Mac Hollins is winning at a high level. Hunter Henry, I joked with him last night. I said, hey, you playing every offensive snap tonight? Like, there's only one tight end on the roster. And he laughed. He said, I'm year 10. I'm going as until the wheels fall off. And there's joy playing with this guy because he's spreading the ball around. And it's tough. I think you have to have a specific game plan, and you got to execute it to slow down Drake Maye right now.
Just want to ask you about this Patriots defense quickly, Devin, because Justin Fields had that great first drive. He ends up being the one to put it in the end zone, and they're using some design quarterback run stuff. The Patriots are, as we get later in the season here, they're going to see some mobile quarterbacks. They obviously have seen Josh Allen once already, but they'll see him again. They'll see Lamar Jackson a little bit later in the season. Who knows who they'll end up seeing in the playoffs, because they're going to the playoffs. What did you notice about how they defended Justin Fields or didn't defend him when it came to him using his legs last night? Was there something missing there? Because it did feel like, especially on that first drive, anytime they needed yards, as long as Fields kept it, he was going to be able to pick up the necessary yardage.
Yeah, I think the Jets will look back at that game and say, we kind of found something and we didn't take advantage of it. You know, Fields had 5 carries on the first drive. The next time he had a carry was the opening drive of the second half. And it was just like, man, why did they go away? And then when they went back to it, they had more success with him running. So depending on what happens, I'll be back Monday night for the Giants game. If Jackson Dart is back out there, I think that's going to be another game where they're going to have to see a very mobile quarterback. You have Lamar Jackson, like you said, coming up on the schedule. So I think one of the things that, with them knowing, I think to Justin Fields, was how much is he going to run? How much QB design are they going to actually do? The Patriots, I don't think, had a great plan for that. I don't think when you know you're playing a running quarterback, you don't want Landry and Chase on the edge one-on-one a ton. And I thought you saw they adjusted a little bit later in the game. Fields did an unbelievable job. One of them where he keeps it, and Ponder, I think it was Ponder, the young player, him and Gonzalez, they're all over it. He, stops on a dime, spins, and gets the 2 or 3 yards they needed. But I think that would be the answer. How do we get another secondary player, another guy that can be around, whether that's cover 2 corners, a cover 3 safety? How do we get some guys, up to the backside? We used to have calls where the safety dropped down right to the offset back and gun, just in case the quarterback kept it, you would have some speed running the quarterback down. So I think there's some easy adjustments they can make going into those games, and I thought they did that a little bit last night, and that might be, I haven't watched the game back, that might be one reason why the Jets didn't go back to it a ton. But I think that would be something they can fix, because look, the Jets had some success, right? If Adonai Mitchell catches that deep ball and stutter on Christian Gonzalez, there were some plays that they kind of got going. And I know people are like, oh man, it was a Jets. That's the NFL. I don't care who you play. You're not just that much better than everybody you play. So if those plays would have connected, I don't think that means, oh man, the Patriots would have been in trouble. No, you got to step up and make another play after that. But there's definitely some things they'll go back and they say, all right, this is how we want to play this better. The Jets got a touchdown where Woodson trips over somebody's foot. Blitz doesn't get home as fast as they want. So you even look at that play and you say, hey, if we don't trip, I don't know for sure this is a touchdown. So all of those plays show up in the game, but they got to feel pretty good. After the opening drive, they played damn good on defense.
Final question for you. I can't help but look at and notice the 3 Lombardi trophies behind you. You said you've got fans already asking you, are we going to the Super Bowl this year? Well, let me ask you now. You know what it takes. You've been around it. Is this team capable of getting to a Super Bowl, Devin?
I think so. If I'm in that building, I don't care if you've experienced it before or not. You should have that belief. Because look around the AFC. What is the reason why the Patriots can't be in the Super Bowl? Because who's that good? I don't think anyone's that good that they would play them on a Sunday or a Saturday in a conference championship game, and we would say, man, they just got no shot. No, I just don't see that team. Can they lose and not go to? Yeah, no doubt about it. The Colts are playing at a high level. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Baltimore Ravens are coming on strong. You're going to play some teams that, hey, any given Sunday, you go out there, you got to compete. But I think the Patriots are, the way they've played just as good as anybody out there. And I know people are going to say their schedule, but when you look at some of these other teams, Kansas City has come on and they started winning games, but all of those wins aren't against the best competition out there either. So I think they have a realistic shot. I think they have a coach who's been there as a player, who's been in the AFC Championship game as a coach. They have other guys sprinkled throughout that roster that have different kinds of experience. Milton Williams just came off a Super Bowl run in a season season where they didn't look great all year, but he had that feeling of knowing what a Super Bowl team looks like. So I think this team should have that kind of belief, but make sure they stay on the kind of focus they've had week after week of focus on the things they have to do. And, you'll see how it all plays out, especially they have the perfect schedule. Right, you play this game, you get the weekend off, you go play 2 more games, and I can just envision the meeting room right now. They come back, it's going to be, guys, I need 2 weeks. 2 weeks, we go get 2 wins, then you're going to get a break. And when you get that break, we don't want to take another break until we're on duck boats. That would be the message of you're getting this break, this bye week late in the season, and it's going to time up for everything we want to do. That's going to be right in front of us, and we're going to be able to control that ship. It's all up to us. And you can't ask for a better ending to your season, what they've the position they put themselves in, and now what they're going to possibly be able to do.
Devin McCourty, he is a grinder. He's calling the game in Foxboro. He's getting home in the wee hours of the morning. He still finds time to come on the Next Pats podcast. Devin, we appreciate. Make sure you're watching him on Football Night in America. Does a phenomenal job. We'll be watching this weekend, buddy. Thanks again for jumping on with us here today.
No problem, man.
Welcome back to Next Pats. Let's launch right into our Stock Watch segment, and we've got to start with Drake Maye. 25 for 34, 281 yards. Still looking for that first 300-yard game. Believe it or not, he should have had it on Thursday night. We'll get to the reasons as to why. Also had a touchdown in this game. Another 100-plus quarterback rating game, 107.6. He was ridiculous throughout. I thought he showed incredible poise in the pocket. And we've got some great stats from our friends at Next Gen Stats to be able to break down exactly how his poise in the pocket influenced this game. Nearly all of Drake Maye's production, according to Next Gen Stats, came on dropbacks over 2.5 seconds, including 237 of his 281 passing yards and his only touchdown. Despite Maye holding on to the ball for more than 2.5 seconds so frequently, he was sacked only once. And again, you saw it with your eyes. The ability to navigate, step up in the pocket, climb up into the middle of the pocket when necessary, keeping 2 hands on the football, extending the play while also keeping his eyes down the field and looking to hit his receivers for chunk gains. He was also very effective at hitting the check down in this one, but the ability just to remain alive in the pocket and not always needing to scramble way outside the numbers in order to keep a play going, I thought that was Maye's greatest strength on Thursday night. You couple that with the ridiculous accuracy, and you get the game that you got. And he should have had even more numbers because, guys, he had 3 drops from his receivers on the night. Mac Hollins dropped one deep down the field. Stephon Diggs dropped a couple. And then there were multiple, at least 2 miscommunications with Kyle Williams. He went 0 for 3, Kyle Williams did, on his targets, but clearly you would look at the rookie receiver there and not the quarterback. So it could have been a 90-plus completion percentage kind of day. He'll have to settle for right around 74. That's just fine. Next up on our stock up list is Travion Henderson. 19 carries for 62 yards, only a 3.3 yards per carry average, but he did have the 2 rushing touchdowns. Really showed, I thought, a nose for the goal line, ran through contact time and again, especially when they got down near pay dirt. He also had the touchdown catch. It was one of his 5 catches for 31 yards on the day. And again, a great stat here from Next Gen Stats. Henderson gained more rushing yards after contact, 70, than he did total yards on the ground. Henderson forced a career-high 9 missed tackles across his 24 touches. So even though the volume in terms of rushing yardage and the average wasn't eye-popping, a very strong night for the rookie running back. Let's put Stephon Diggs in the stock up category as well. I know I just mentioned he had a couple of drops. He still deserves to be in this category. Caught 9 of his 11 targets for 105 yards against zone coverage. Diggs was targeted 9 times. He caught 8 for 100 yards. And this goes to show just what a great marriage this has been between Stephon Diggs and Drake Maye, of course. But how about Stephon Diggs and Josh McDaniels? The ability to understand what types of coverages you might be getting, and then how best to use your 32 ultra-savvy receiver who is able to find those soft spots in the zones and understand that if he's in the right place at the right time, his young quarterback is going to find him. It felt like time and again on Thursday night, there was nobody within 7 or 8 yards of Stephon Diggs every time he was targeted. It was another tremendous game for him, especially in the middle of the field. You know, Drake Maye loves to layer the football. He's got tremendous touch, the ability to layer the football into what can be at times tight spots in zone coverages, not necessarily the case against the Jets, and Stephon Diggs feasted. Now, as mature and professional as that Patriots win may have been, we know it wasn't perfect. And so let's stick at that receiver position and start talking about whose stock is down after Thursday night football. And I'll go with Kyle Williams here. 0 for 3 on his targets. He played 70% of the snaps, and it just feels like that chemistry with Drake Maye isn't progressing the way that Kyle Williams, I'm sure, would love for it to progress. Now, I think on one of his targets, you can't ask for a whole lot more from Kyle Williams. He got behind the Jets' coverage. He used his speed. Drake Maye tried to target him deep down the field, maybe put a little bit too much air under the football, got a little bit wobbly by the time it landed near its target. It was nearly picked off. So I don't necessarily look at Kyle Williams as being the problem on that particular play, but then his other 2 targets, they really weren't close. I thought the Patriots might get bagged for an intentional grounding penalty on one of them because he was not anywhere near the football when it fell to the ground. It's the kind of thing where they just need more reps. Now, he got more reps in practice with Kayshon Boutte out last week. Same deal this week, although we know the Patriots, any team going into a Thursday night game, they barely practice. So not a lot of time to work on that chemistry, work on that connection. You wonder if they'll be able to get many more reps working on that connection because Kayshon Boutte, we think, should be back at practice again this coming week before the Bengals game, and he should be back on the game field sometime in the near future. You wonder what that means for Kyle Williams and his workload. Craig Woodson, stock down this week as well, as solid as he's been over the course of the season, and he's close to 100% of the snaps this year. Phenomenal for any rookie, especially a 4th-round player, especially at a position like safety, where a lot is asked of these guys, especially in this Mike Vrabel defense. But he falls down late in the 3rd quarter. John Mechie scores an easy touchdown for the Jets to make it a 1-score game. Could have been a not back-breaking, but a game-changing kind of play had the game turned from there. Patriots obviously didn't allow that to happen, but we'll put Craig Woodson in the stock down category after this week. We also, I think, have to include the run defense here in our stock down bucket because 5.0 yards per carry allowed to the Jets. And I know they want to run the football. It's just about the only thing they can do. I understand Breece Hall is a talented back. I understand Justin Fields is a weapon, and he was a weapon on Thursday night, specifically to start that game. He ended up with over 6 yards per carry. He had a touchdown on that game-opening drive where it's a pretty simple zone read, and he's able to just out-leverage Harold Landry around the edge and get to the pylon using that speed of his. But for the Patriots to not be ready for those types of runs, the way it looked like they weren't necessarily ready for those types of runs, surprised me because they have been on their P's and Q's when it comes to opposing offenses trying to run the football all season long. You could make the argument going into Thursday night, they've been the best run defense in football. And yet it felt like there were a few lapses in that phase of their defense on Thursday night with some mobile quarterbacks coming up on the schedule. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You wonder if opposing offensive coordinators are going to look at that game Thursday night and say to themselves, if we can figure out a way to get our quarterbacks into space, maybe get them to the outside, we might be able to create a few explosive plays. So something to keep an eye out for the Patriots defense moving forward. All right, it's time to open up some of your mail. We've got a great question here from Seti Anari. He says, hi, Phil. How would you describe the strengths and weaknesses of the team right now? And how would you fix the weaknesses? Well, we just talked about the Patriots' run defense being a strength of theirs really all season. They've been tremendous. Going into Thursday night, they were 1st in rush yards allowed per game, just a tick under 80. They were 4th in rush yards per play, 3.8. They were 4th in stuff percentage. They were 6th in EPA per rush. You get the idea. They've been excellent in that regard. Again, got to make sure you have those quarterback runs cleaned up moving forward. How about offensively, though? Offensively, their strength has been explosive plays. 8th in EPA per play going into Thursday night, 7th in yards per play, 8th in points per drive, and 5th in explosive play rate, and they remained explosive on Thursday night. Just look at the receivers, and once again, you got contributions from receivers across the board. Stephon Diggs had a 22-yard catch. Mac Hollins had a 20-yard catch. Hunter Henry, how about the tight end with Austin Hooper down? Played a lot on Thursday night. Had a 23-yard catch of his own. Pop Douglas had that great fall down, get back up, stumble bum kind of catch and run for 26 yards. So they've got a variety of different receivers who can contribute chunk gains. That remained the case on Thursday night. So the strengths of this team, I think, are pretty well established. It's how can you continue to leverage those moving forward. How about the weaknesses, though? The rushing offense continues to struggle, even though they got in the end zone twice. And I give Travion Henderson a lot of credit for that, all those yards after contact. As a running back group, though, with Ramondre Stevenson down and with Terrell Jennings really not contributing, Dearness Johnson had 3 carries for 6 yards, Henderson 19 for 62. That's an average of about 3.1 per carry. That's just not efficient enough. And so how can they fix it? There was a great stat from Nate Tice of Yahoo Sports that came out earlier this week where he's talking about pulling linemen. And when the Patriots pull their linemen, they're actually 12th in the NFL in success rate running the football. They're 5th in EPA per play when they pull their linemen. That's power, that's counter. Anytime you can get those big boys on the move. When they don't pull their linemen, they're last in the NFL in success rate. They're 29th in EPA per rush. When they just try to get downhill, these are those duo runs or those zone runs, either inside or outside zone, where you're not necessarily trying to create any sort of misdirection or confusion from the opposing defense in terms of how you're moving those linemen. That's where they struggle. And I think that played out on Thursday night. If you go back and you watch both of those Travion Henderson runs, on the first, that looked like a counter type of play where they pull left guard Jarrett Wilson around to the right side. They actually send the fullback, Jack Westover, to that same side. It looks like a power, quote unquote, power run to the right. You get a little jab step from Travion Henderson in the backfield. He ends up taking a pitch to the left. He's able to run through a little bit of contact and gets into the end zone. On his second touchdown, that's more of your traditional power run. They pull right guard Micah Wenu to the left side. He absolutely flattens a Jets defender. And seconds later, Travion Henderson is celebrating his second touchdown of the night. So maybe there's something there for Josh McDaniels in this Patriots offense. Can you build the entire rushing game plan out of plays where you're pulling your linemen? I'm not so sure about that. But can they do it a little bit more? Maybe they can in order to have a little bit more success on the ground. Defensively, their weakness, red zone. And actually, the red zone percentage got a little bit better on Thursday night. Believe it or not, they were last in the NFL in red zone scores in terms of the percentage. 73.9% of red zone trips resulted in touchdowns. Can you believe that? Almost 3/4 of red zone trips going into Thursday night football for the Patriots resulted in touchdowns. As good as this Patriots defense has been at times, for that number to be that high, that is stunning. And so they go 1 for 2, the Jets do, inside the 20 in terms of scoring touchdowns on Thursday night. So it's still a 50% rate. Not exactly what you're looking for, but from where the Patriots were, that'll come down a notch. They'll continue to try to make improvements there as the season goes along. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Next Pat's Friends. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much to the great Devin McCourty for being with us to talk all things Patriots Jets. We'll be right back here next week looking ahead to a Patriots-Bengals matchup. We'll see if the Patriots can end up 10-2 by the end of Week 12. We'll talk to you next time.